So let's go ahead and get started with our session today. Our presenter is Bianca Grant, and we welcome you, Bianca. Bianca comes from working in a small family business, and then she opened her own remote services firm in 2008. Bianca has assisted clients large and small for more than 20 years now. She says she is a natural-born problem solver. She has a lot of hands-on experience with how business and technology merge and work together. She's worked in government, in education, and in the private sector in various support roles, working with international firms in an administrative Bianca to understand how business functions around the globe and how strategic planning coupled with a highly qualified administrative team equals success. Bianca brings all of her experience and love of problem solving to this role as the owner of VBS of Texas in determining each client's administrative needs and constructing an innovative way that will help a lot of businesses run seamlessly. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and pass it over to Bianca.
Hi guys, thank you for joining us today. So today we're going to get right into some sustainability basics for business operations. As Alice said, I am the CEO and owner of Virtual Business Services of Texas. And one of the ways that I do help clients is to help them to sustain their business or to create ways to sustain their business or help them when they're trying to maintain business, sustaining their business. So we're going to hop right into it. I do want to remind you guys that we do have a handout of digital information, and you can scan it right here on the QR code now, and we will show it again at the end of the presentation. So let's get into it. Sustainability basics for business operations. The world continues to use natural resources unsustainably despite the technological advances that promote energy efficiency gains. Commercial and residential energy consumption continues to grow, and that can greatly affect the sustainability of a day-to-day business operations, especially when it comes to consumption and production. So what are the biggest energy expenses for small businesses? Well, of course, light bulbs. We need light bulbs to run the business, to have certain energy levels, but also desktop computers and monitors are a staple in small businesses today. However, desktop computers cost a great deal in terms of energy. For example, the typical desktop computer can use about 250 watts per hour, with the monitor adding another 20 to 40 watts per hour. Just think of this. If this desktop computer is left on all day, that is really a lot of energy. And even your average laptop computer uses between 15 and 26 watts per hour. Between 15 and 60 watts per hour, sorry. And if you do leave those monitors on at night or through the weekend when the business is not in operation, they can continue to suck up power and waste energy. And then, of course, we have the office copy machine. That, again, that's a common appliance in small business today. However, these machines use a great deal of energy even when they're in sleep or standby mode. The average copier uses 2,400 watts while printing, 310 watts while in standby mode, and 200 watts while in sleep mode. This means that even when you're not using the machine to make copies, the device is still costing the business energy. And then the big one, which is paper. So paper pollution causes serious adverse effects to the quality of air, water, and the land around us. 86 gallons of water is used to make 2.2 pounds of paper, and it takes about 2.6 gallons of water to make one piece of A4 paper. And A4 paper is typically the paper that's used to create contracts. And so I have an example. I was recently at a car dealership looking to purchase a new car. And once I was in office, the salesperson, of course, required some documentation. So they wanted income and bank statements for the past 90 days. And for me, this also included my business financial statements because I am a small business owner. And this is how this process goes. So the salesperson asks that I email the documents. Then once the documents are emailed, instead of placing the documents in a secure portal for review or allowing the customer to upload documents to a secure portal, the salesman prints the documents out for review. Now, after reviewing the documents, the salesperson discards the documents in a shredder bender, which that's great, recycling, right? That's good to recycle the paper with shredding it. But we're going to talk about some waste that come along with shredding paper as well in a second. And that was just a huge paper waste, in my opinion. And I started to look around the company, look around the building, and I saw dozens of customers doing the exact same thing, printing out loads and loads of paper. So that led me to believe that there wasn't even a digital process in place for collecting and verifying documents. And then the paper waste did not stop there. When it was time to sign the contract, the company prints out 2 sets of 20 plus sheets of paper. Of course, the customer copy and the company keeps a copy. Again, no digital process in place for the hundreds of cars that they sell each day. And it made me think this is a huge franchise across the United States. So if each franchise is doing that, that is a huge amount of paper waste. And paper accounts for 25% of landfill waste and 33% of municipal waste. And not only is discarded paper a major component of landfill sites, but even paper recycling, getting back to that shredding, is a source of pollution because the sludge that's produced during the de-inking process. So you have to think, how do we combat that? How do we combat this paper waste in this way and other energy waste? Well, that brings us to process automation. What is it? Automation is using technology to produce and deliver goods and service with minimal human interaction. Automation improves the efficiency, reliability, or speed of many tasks performed by humans. And service-based entrepreneurs and small business owners should automate rote or repeat tasks such as appointment setting, contracts, invoicing, and onboarding and offboarding clients or customers. But how does this look? Automation can be overwhelming, so I always suggest that my clients start small. A simple automation project would be something like automating your initial contact with a potential client or customer through getting a contract signed and an invoice paid. So again, how does this look? This type of automation is set up where one step triggers the next and no human interaction is involved. There's a great energy reducer right there. So most businesses are familiar with a lead capture, which usually brings someone into their business. They may be looking to get a freebie or join an email list or sign up for something. And so the lead capture starts the process. And the lead capture triggers the appointment calendar where a lead books a time slot on your calendar when they are available. Once a consultation meeting is complete and the lead decides to move forward with services, an automated trigger sends out a contract. And then once the contract is signed, an automated trigger is set up to send an invoice to the new client. So there are a few benefits to this. No back and forth with chasing down clients to get them on your calendar, signing a contract, or getting an invoice paid. And then there is no use of physical paper involved whatsoever. And you can digitize contracts to replace paper contracts at 100%. Does not require a physical signature, and a digital signature actually leaves a digital audit trail, which provides a more secure way to maintain information. Of course, digital paperwork is easier to contain than paper files, and digital invoices are not new. You guys probably have gotten an invoice in your inbox this week. But when you combine digital invoices with the automation process, such as this one, it will allow your business to run more efficiently, again, reducing those energy costs. Now, there are some steps in setting implementation up like this when you're getting ready to automate a process or even a set of processes. There are a few things that you should do. First, you're going to evaluate how would your business benefit from automation. So you look in your business and see where automation would benefit the business and also the environment. Second, you move to the planning phase. You're going to spend the most time in the planning phase because it allows you to get your thoughts out through brainstorming and making sure that you have a solid plan in place. So think about what is more important for the business right now. And you do that by reviewing your current processes. So an initial phase completion. Choose a business management tool that has a key focus on automation. Again, the resource handout has some recommended business management tools that aid with automation. Determine a timeline and build out the automation. After the planning phase, you come to the third step, which is testing the automation process with team members. You want to test the process internally first. Even if you don't have a team or a big team, you can probably get some friends or other people that are interested in your business to help you to test it out internally. And if there are any gaps in the process, go back to the planning phase, close the gaps, and retest. Now, this is very important because automation can be a beast if it's not done correctly. So pushing out an automation process to your clients before it's ready only causes chaos and will frustrate your customer. The idea around automation is to simplify. So make sure your process is streamlined start to finish before going live with it. Fourth, it's time to implement the automation process with a selected group of new or existing clients. And last, get feedback on the new automation process, possibly through a short survey. If applicable, implement the revised automation processes across the business. So that's automation process. Now we get into another administrative solution that I like, but I'm going to show a little commercial clip first. And leading up to this summit, I came across this advertisement often. And I thought it was funny, so I'm going to play it.
What did we decide on the flyers again? 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. I think we're going to swap over to over 75 years of savings and service.
Well, we're just going to swap over.
Yep. Pump the brakes on this, swap it over to that.
Pump the brakes and swap over.
That's right. What, instead of all this I've already up? Well, what are we going to do with these? Keep it in your desk. Save it for next time. Geico, over 75 years of savings and service.
Always interesting when I see that commercial because it's so true. Most of the time, companies waste just for the sake of wasting. Even before I started my own business, I was always amazed by how much paper waste went on within a business. So, thinking about that, that brings me to content repurposing. What is it? Content repurposing is when you recycle content that you already have. Simply put, it means to reuse the content more than once, but put it in a different format. And when I meet with my clients, and they're looking for a content package, I always tell them content is everywhere. What content do you already have? Even if you are a novice at creating content, you still have some content that you can start to set up for repurposing. Now, there are so many different pieces of content that you can repurpose, but for this presentation, I chose 4. The first one is social media. So go through that social media. Think about what you posted on your social media in the way of specials, events, campaigns. If you already have a social media planner set up, you can easily pull the information from the plan. Next is video. Video is great because there's so many ways to chop up video. You can pull snippets from video. You can cut and crop video to make stills. You can turn a video into a mini ebook. It's just so many great ways to repurpose video. And written content, which is my favorite, is the most versatile way to repurpose. For example, did you know that you can take one blog post and repurpose it into 80 different pieces of content? Turn it into a video tutorial, a poll or a survey, or create a Pinterest board with the information. Presentations. So you guys have seen a lot of presentations today. Pull those presentations off the shelf or out of that file folder on your desktop because you can take it and repurpose it and flip it and do so many different things with it. For example, we've already repurposed this presentation by using parts of it for our social media posts leading up to this summit. So there was no rewriting involved, just pulling phrases and graphics from this presentation. We were able to post information across 7 different social media platforms. Now, how do you go about repurposing? There are a few steps involved. First, you want to review the content that you currently have. And again, going back to what are you using in your social media? What are you using to market? So whatever content that you feel is dated, consider revising it or getting rid of it altogether. If you are new in business or you're working on new content, create evergreen content. And when you create evergreen content, it's just with the thought of reusing it. So think about as you create, how can I reuse this and where can I reuse this? Build a content repository. And this is a collection that holds or houses all of your content. So it allows you just to pull it when you need it and it's all in one spot. And there you have it. Then you can create a graphics library. A lot of places that you can do that is Canva. They have great, they have a free program that you can use. They also have a paid program. But the graphic library will house just a few simple graphics that you can use to pull text in, take text away, and images as needed. Now, when you think about building your graphics library, remember to have at least 3 key components of your brand, which are your colors, your fonts, and your logo. When you're ready to publish content, arrange your graphics and your content for whatever you're using it for. If it's a social media campaign, to create an email list, special promotions, or if you're launching a product or service, or if you're having a special event or even a free event. And another way to use your repurposed content is to send it to your email list via text message. People always have their phones, and most of the time when they sign up for a freebie or subscribe to an email list, they will provide a cell phone number. The best thing about that is that graphics, content, and links can easily be sent via text message to a group of subscribers. Now, we talked about 2 administrative solutions to help your business to become more sustainable. Now, let's talk about the benefits of implementing these solutions. First, automation. The greatest benefit of automation is reducing the use of time, energy, and resources. Automation also reduces your carbon footprint. And zero waste solutions include digitizing a manual contract or process by using a software that allows you to enable digital signatures, document management, and archiving of those documents. And using a digital signature alone will reduce both paper and energy use and costs. Now, repurposing content. Repurposing content reduces paper waste and the consumption of water and energy. It also expands the reach of your brand, so you don't have to think about creating something new all the time. Again, what do you have? What do you already have that you can take and reuse? And it also helps to reduce the use of having to market or promote your business or services through direct mailers. Implementing these administrative solutions do take some time and planning, but it's well worth it for a more sustainable future. Now, I have placed some additional resources for building a more sustainable business here. They are clickable in the download, or you can click it if you download the presentation. Again, if you haven't grabbed the resources, you can scan those now through the QR code. And the resource package includes the presentation itself. Then we have an automation template, 5 steps to automating a business process, infographic crash course, repurpose any piece of content, and then that business management platform suggestion for setting up business processes for automation. We'll now take some questions, and thank you guys for being here today. I appreciate it very much.
Bianca, we'll wait to see if we have a couple of questions trickle in, but my question to you, in case anyone in the session is wondering, is your presentation available for them to review?
Yes, the presentation is a part of the download package if they would like to download it.
Great. Well, Bianca, that was a great presentation. I guess if anybody does have a question after the fact, if they think of something, they can contact you through the information you provided in your package.
Yes. Also, we have information at the end. You can reach us on most of the social media platforms. Also, if you did want to book a free discovery call, you have a QR code here for that as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate the information.